Hello, 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 welcome back to my channel. I'm Samantha Winona. This is Winona Reads. Today's video is going to be my April wrap-up. I read 15 books in the month of April, a couple of graphic novels, a few audiobooks, and so I just wanted to go over them, so let's dive in. I'm gonna work my way from what I finished back to the beginning of the month, just because that's how my notes are over here. So the last one that I had finished for the month was Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson, and I gave that 3.5 stars. I started it on audiobook when I was at the bookstore and was kind of reading along and following, and then finished it through the copy that I have on my shelf. And this is about 3 siblings. I mean, the book is about a family who is part of the upper class of New York City. And so it follows Sasha, who is Cord's wife. Cord's siblings are the other characters in the book, and then the parents kind of intermingle, or they're interwoven a little bit. So it is a piece about, you know, the waspy part of society in New York City. It is about how different generations kind of view money aspects and things like that. So it was Sasha, Georgiana, and Darlie, and so I did really like it. I was very involved and invested in it. The thing I think that stood out the most to me as the part of it that I didn't like was towards middle to end, when, you know, the younger generation is kind of figuring out money doesn't matter and sort of taking that step back from generational wealth. And I just felt like it was too rushed. It was too surface level. I think it would have definitely been a more substantial piece if it had not just skimmed the surface. If that makes sense. I feel like, I don't know, the characters weren't really developed enough. But it's hard for me even thinking that, because I still felt involved and I still liked it as a whole. I feel like there wasn't enough substance to it. So Sasha is Cord's wife, and throughout it she kind of talks about how she doesn't feel like she fits into the family, how they judge her. They call her GD for gold digger, and so there's just a different perspective on her end, even though she is married to the brother of these girls. And then Georgiana is the youngest sibling and comes into her own about probably a little bit more than halfway through the novel. She runs into somebody who, you know, also comes from generational wealth, and she thinks he's a little bit snobbish and standoffish, just because almost as if he thinks he's better than the wealth that he was raised in, and she didn't understand it. But then a little bit later she comes to find out that's also her sense of being. She doesn't want all the wealth that she just inherited. And then Darlie is kind of in between, where her husband lost his job and she doesn't want to tell her family, not because she's embarrassed, but because she just doesn't want her parents interacting or being involved in that. And I don't know, overall the writing was well done. I just think it didn't go into it enough, and so that's why I kind of rated it lower. But the audiobook was really well narrated, and the book itself was good. So I mean, I would recommend it. It's just not going to be something that I would reread again. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm not sure about my feelings on that one. So after Pineapple Street, and this might sound silly, I always do this every time I finish a collection, but I did read my own poetry, my 3rd collection. It is just published. I am waiting for the hard copy to come in. That is These Theoretical Thoughts by me. And so yeah, I always read through it just to make sure, you know, the Kindle version looks good. And my mail, I think, lost it. It was supposed to be here Monday and it's Wednesday, so hoping it comes in soon. But I am too excited to have the physical copy in my hands to show you guys. The one after that that I finished was The Henna Artist by Alkajashi. That one I gave 5 stars to. It was so well written, so well done. Lakshmi is a henna artist in her local town. She runs away from her family and her husband, who was abusive. She kind of makes her own way doing henna art, as well as giving herbs and medicines to people who don't want to carry children. And so, you know, when husbands have an affair with a mistress or something like that, she's the one that supplies herbs to said woman. And so she knows a lot of secrets about the upper class, even though she is not a part of it. And she's well trusted until 2 separate things happen. One, her sister comes to find her with her ex-husband, but her sister comes to find her, stays with her, ends up getting pregnant by one of the wealthy sons to the wealthy class. I believe it's also his father that Lakshmi herself is in a relationship with, or like mistress vibes. So the wife is very off-put by both situations, shuns her out, and it is just very dramatic, but so well written. The storytelling is amazing. I cannot wait to pick up the second book. So yeah, 5 stars to that one. Before that, I had rented A Book of Days by Patti Smith from the library, and I did finish that in one sitting. That is a collection of Polaroids with captions underneath, and I rated it 3 stars-ish. I was I was bummed that, come to find out, they're not all of her pictures. Like, I would rather it be a scanned copy of something that she had actually taken, like a physical copy. I haven't read her stuff. I do want to read her other like writings. I have Just Kids over on my shelf. I got it a couple of months ago. I was just a little disappointed that the pictures were not all hers. After that, I had listened to Maybe Now by Colleen Hoover on audiobook. I gave that one 3.5 to 4 stars. This was the follow-up to Maybe Someday, I think. And that was about Ridge and Sydney's relationship, how Maggie and Ridge were together. I didn't like the first book. I didn't like the way I felt reading it, like most of her other books, honestly, but this one was a lot better, I think, just to see Maggie trying to find her own way. Ridge and Sydney are trying to find their own way while still everybody being involved in the group setting. And then Bridget and, what's his name? Bridget and Warren were a little bit more developed in that. The part at the end was completely cringe. Everybody getting engaged at the same time. Not for me. So probably 3.5 stars, if not 3. As always, I'll always read her stuff. It's a good palette cleanser in between anything else. Like, just to, like, I'll go through my library list and just reserve it, and whenever it comes in, I finish it in a day. Like, it's just one of those that it's a quick, easy read, easy to follow, easy storytelling, easy storyline. Not always likable characters, but that's the point of most of them. So take it for what you will, I guess. After that was Spy Family 1 and 2 by Tatsuya Endo. First one I gave 5 stars, second one I gave 4 stars. This is a collection about a private spy named Twilight who, in order to complete his current mission, needs a fake family. However, the daughter that he adopts is a mind reader, and the wife that he chooses is an assassin. So nobody knows what each other's profession is or capability is. So it is interesting. I do like it. I think the graphics are great and the storyline is so interesting. I just can't wait to keep going and see how they start to, 1, find out what each other does, and 2, be able to work together a little bit better, because it's kind of chaotic right now, which it's supposed to be. After that, I finished Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. That one I gave 4 stars to. Oh right, okay, so that was Hallie and Julian had kissed like 14 years ago, and then I think her grandmother passes away. She moves back to her hometown, becomes a gardener for families or just the community. She gets herself hired to be around him, but he comes back into town because he is staying at his parents' house writing a historical novel, and so she calls up his, family residence and is like, hey, do you guys need flowers, to like kind of insert herself into his space. And he, you know, doesn't remember who she is, but then finds out through other people in the community and is very smitten by her. Sexy stuff happens, the usual Tessa Bailey. It was Grumpy to Sunshine, or Grumpy and Sunshine, and I recommend it. I have it in paperback, but I did listen to it on audio as well, just because it's one of those easier ones that like I can follow the storyline better and a little bit faster than if I was reading the physical copy, so I tend to listen to rom-coms instead. Narration was good, I liked it. After that was Pages & Co. The Treehouse Library by Anna James. I gave that one 4 stars. I think I talked about this a little bit in my last video, but this was about Milo and Alicia trying to find the botanist to find a cure for Milo's uncle Horatio. And it takes up pretty much the whole novel, which was kind of the bummer. Like, I don't know, it's very hard to explain. A lot did happen. Like, he found his grandmother that he thought had passed on, and the grandmother, she's like scheming behind his back. I think that's what she was doing. I don't know. It was not my favorite one in the series so far, but I'm not sure if that's just because I'm not in the age group that it's meant for. I don't know. So I am interested to see. Obviously I'll keep them on my shelves, and I can't wait for my kids to read them as they get older and get their opinions on them. But yeah, so towards the end, they did not find the cure, but they found all the pieces to make a cure. And then when they get back to Pages & Co., the bookstore, it is like surrounded by a spell from Alicia's dad, the alchemist, because he knows that what he's looking for is in there. So he traps Tilly's family and Milo's uncle, who is still healing, in the bookstore, and that's how it ends. So I know the next one's going to be great. I do love the series. I just think this one wasn't my favorite, and that's okay. It was still 4 stars. Before that, I had finished Romantic Comedy by Curtis I always want to say that, Curtis Sittenfeld. I gave that 4 stars. And this was about Sally, who works at the Night Owl, which is basically SNL fictional version. One of the guest hosts is a singer-songwriter who she falls for, but kind of talks herself out of because she doesn't think her looks are enough for him. That was the vibe I got the entire time, and honestly it was very off-putting. I feel like when it comes to rom-coms and I don't know, just books in general, like, it's fine if one character doesn't think that they are worth the other one's attention. Like, I get that aspect, but it was just so overplayed in it. Like, I don't think I fit the part. I don't think I look the part. I don't think we're on the same hotness level on the scale. Like, yeah, we get it. You don't need to keep saying it. But the other aspects of the book were very good. The fact that it had a COVID piece and they were passing emails back and forth, and then her stepfather gets sick and he goes with her. Like, that was all much more well done. I just think the harping on, like, looks, just, I don't know. It was a huge pet peeve throughout it and really did bother me. But that was it. That was the only, like, otherwise it was easily readable and everything else flowed a lot better. So after that, I had read a poetry collection by, I hope I'm saying this right, Ada Limon, The Hurting Kind. I gave that 4 stars. I think I got it on Kindle or the library, I'm not sure, but I loved her work. I think she's very powerful. It was just very well done. That is all I have to say. I highly recommend that collection. Before that, I read Orange Volume 3 by Ichigo Takano, and that one I gave 4 stars. It was still just a continuation of Naho and her friends trying to help Kakeru and sort of invest themselves in trying to change his future, if that's possible. We still don't know if it's possible. I do want to continue the series. I have been buying them on my Kindle, and I might see if the library has any now that I'm sort of like more through. Like, they didn't have volumes 1 and 2. I think they just got them, but I want to see if the other volumes are like at a closer place so that it's not going to take me like 2 weeks for them to ship them and get them in. But I would continue the series. I definitely like the graphics. I like the storyline. I think it's something I haven't read before. And then the first 3 books that I started off April with were the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, The Fine Print, Terms and Conditions, and Final Offer. I gave 3 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars. It is a series about brothers. The first one is Rowan and Zara. The second one is Declan and Iris. And then the third one was Cal and Lana. So they obviously have their aspects of like steamy romance, the, you know, fun girls getting the bad boys, or the cold grumpy guys that, you know, just want to work and make their careers. The third one was definitely the most different, so I did like the aspect of not every brother being the same and all the relationships are different. I also did like the third book with Cal, had the alcoholism trope, which is something that I haven't read in a rom-com yet, so that was, I thought, well done. I thought the way that she portrayed him needing alcohol to cope with feelings and needing alcohol to just on a daily basis, and a little bit like, you know, he's trying to cut down for her, but he's not just going cold turkey like I feel like maybe some other authors would write. It was, you know, I'm willing to try to stop, but I need to do it on my own terms. And, you know, he does go to rehab and all of this different stuff. I just thought her writing was well done. I do want to read some of her other stuff, and I do have some of it saved on my Kindle. So it's just a problem of so many books, so little time at the moment. But those were all of my reads for April, 15 books total. I think it was a good month. I think for the most part I enjoyed everything that I had read. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys have picked up in April, what you're currently reading. Yeah, keep reading. Hopefully you have nice weather. Enjoy, and I will see you soon. Bye. I forgot to mention, but I did want to just come on and say that my Instagram, I'll leave the handle down below. My Instagram, I am doing a giveaway until this Sunday to gain more followers and a little bit more attraction. I'm giving away 2 gift cards for US citizens only. So, excuse my dog, I'm sure the mailman's here. So please do look at that. I'll post it down below. And if you would like to join our book club, we've gotten a couple more members, so super excited. And we can finally have like a larger discussion this month. So if you have missed that, please go back to my last video and I'll leave the book club link down below. See you soon. Bye.